Everyone loves happy hour, and no one makes an hour happier than actress, comedian, author, host, and self-proclaimed hat girl, Dee Dee Sorvino, who each show serves up an hour of good times and great conversation. Food, culture, fashion, current events, history, or just good gossip. Grab a cocktail and take a seat as Dee Dee shares stories, talks with friends, and makes you wish you could keep the bar tab open all night. Where there's a party, there's Dee Dee, and you are invited. Sit back, relax, and enjoy Drinks with Dee Dee. Here's your host, Dee Dee Sorvino.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Drinks with Dee Dee. Kentucky woman. I don't know the other words, but I love Kentucky. All right, Kentucky moon. How do I not know any words to these Kentucky songs? Anyway, we're talking about Katy Perry moving to Kentucky this week, and about how there aren't any moving trucks in LA, because you know what? Everybody's getting the heck out of Dodge. Cali sucks. Where are the moving trucks? That's the show. Katy Perry moves to Kentucky. Cali sucks. Now go find a moving truck. Okay, people are it's a mass exodus. You know, we've kind of hinted about it and joked about it and made reference to this on the show before, but now we're going full on. Why is everyone leaving? Because it's crazy now. Again, not even any trucks to get the heck out. So everybody's getting the heck out. They're sparse. Everyone, I'm Dee Dee Sorvino, your host. I won an Emmy for hosting, so I'm pretty good at it if I feel like it. Sometimes I get lazy, sometimes I get drunk, but you know, hey, that's what you do at a bar, right? This is the best virtual bar you're ever going to enjoy, and we'd love for you to come every time we have a show. We want you to hang out, tell your friends. It's fun. You know, we just shoot and drink, and that's it. There's no script. I don't send out questions. I said, all right, well, we're talking about this, have a drink. That's it. So I hope you have a cocktail. I am having Kentucky bourbon, of course. It's probably what one of our guests, Michael, who was a regular on the show, he's really great. And he usually is drinking the same thing. So we'll see if we twinsies today. But welcome, welcome, welcome. Please subscribe. You know, I kind of hate saying that because I don't like to urge people to do it, but they kind of forget if you don't mention it here and there. But we'd love to have you join because we've got all kinds of fun shows. You could binge watch and listen to the podcast. You'll be going, those people are crazy. They are rude, crazy, but they're having fun. So if your mind is on something that's just a bummer, tune into a show because you will forget it, because we never know where we're going to go. We have a theme, we have a topic, and we may stay on it for 5 minutes or 5 seconds or just almost skip it all together. But you know what? It's still fun. Just like at a bar, you never know what's going to go. So I say we bring in the bar buddies, the bar broads, the bar buddies. It's always a good mix. I like to have regulars, and I like to have new people too, here and there. And sometimes the new people, they don't last. Like, they'll just go away. They're scared. This show scares them. They leave.
I'm scared. I need to leave.
Yeah, oh no, I was just mentioning, what happened? Do you all see me still?
Yeah. You're there.
I always see you.
Well, what'd I do? Wait a minute. Oh, there I am. Okay. I am the worst with tech. So anyway, love you guys. I'm glad you're here. So, Cathy.
Hi.
Red wine. Hello.
Hello.
I have Woodford Reserve Bourbon, Michael. Is that what you're drinking? Cheers.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Cheers.
Because of course we're talking about Kentucky, Katy Perry, and all that. So, Tom, what are you having? Are you usually a whiskey guy? What you doing? What you having?
Pendleton.
In a flask. Gotta love it.
I'm a professional. I'm a professional.
You are a professional. I am too. You know, we all. Don't you guys think it's fun that you guys are regulars? So isn't it funny when you have a new person come in? And that's what I was just talking about, because sometimes they don't last. They're like, no, I can't do that again. Well, that's great. It's not for everybody. You know, some people just need to have a wine spritzer instead of hard liquor. This is sort of a hard liquor show, but we like to have the red wine. Cathy,
What?
So what are you up to?
Me?
Yeah, what are you doing?
I'm having popcorn ready for the show.
Oh, okay, good. That's good.
Did you have popcorn the last time?
No, I do chips usually.
Oh, that's good.
Keep up, Michael, Tommy. Yeah.
Hey, I ain't that good looking.
They look so much alike. I can see how you get them mixed up.
I keep it classy.
You do. We don't, but you do. So thank you. Well, Sue Ann does. She keeps it classy.
Definitely.
Hey, I think we got to congratulate Mike here.
Well, let's do it. Okay, Michael, how many film festivals have you went? You know what? Tom's the same way. You're both winning like crazy. Winning more than Charlie Sheen even. I think you've passed up Charlie Sheen. Hard to do.
I think we're at 18 awards now.
What?
Wow.
All right.
Are you going to Sicily? Did you win Sicily? Or, you know, are there any that are coming up you're going to travel to? And why don't you tell our viewers, tell our listeners, because, you know, we're like, okay, we all know what's going on, but they don't. Tell us what's up.
Well, we recently won Hong Kong and Washington State.
What's that? For what? Tell us about your show.
Oh, for Flip Mode. Flip Mode.
What is that?
Flip Mode is a story about a country music artist and a rapper who ghostwrite each other's music, and I play the rapper that's actually the country guy, and then Reggie Shorter plays the rapper that, you know. So we flip it.
And he's got a great supporting cast.
Yes.
You got to be out of your gourd if you don't think that some of my awards are best ensemble.
I'm sorry, but that was the best part. Other than Michael going topless and going, oh my God.
I did pose topless. I did.
That's what did it.
But I go back to this drunk guy at the film festival in San Antonio. He's watching it, and he's just like the show comes on. He's like, "Who are all these people?" And he's just laughing. He's like, "Oh my God." And he was talking into the next guy's film. The festival director was like, "Shh, be quiet. The next film is playing."
And you know, Michael, it was so good.
Respect.
It was so good. I mean, everybody was just great. And Cathy, I'm sorry you missed it. We did invite you though, but you missed that.
I drank too much before the show, probably. Yeah.
Well, you were doing some job thing. You know, you're like doing all these things, so entrepreneurial.
But I do stalk Michael. I do stalk Michael now on all social media and congratulate him constantly that he doesn't even reply anymore. He's so snobby. He doesn't talk to me.
Come on. I always reply.
He's busy, man.
I'm so proud.
He's a big time movie producer.
I'm so proud, Michael. I really am, though.
Yeah, I'm proud. And Tom as well. Tom, you're doing all kinds of fun stuff. I mean, you're winning. What's your next project and next award?
I am filming Mob Humor in Greensboro, North Carolina.
No. Did you say Mob?
July.
Mob?
Mob. M-O-B. Humor. It's a comedy with Tom Sizemore.
And
nice.
We're not in this?
Hey, one of your friends is the executive producer. And
really?
she says, I wish Dee Dee could be in this. So you talk to her.
I don't even know who you're talking about, but I think everybody should join in. I think it should be the whole Drinks with Dee Dee crew. You remember what a good job we do with Michael. So somehow we should figure it out. But I don't know.
I'll be the Irishman.
It's a comedy. It's
I'll
a comedy about.
I won't drink.
No, you might want to drink. That drinking.
Where some New York mobsters moved to rural North Carolina and try to blend in.
Well, so, that's great.
I don't know. It should be interesting.
Well, Michael doesn't look like the mob, but he looks like the North Carolinian in the backwoods.
I look like the locals.
Yeah, I'm thinking
you ain't from around here, are you?
And then the ladies are classy, so they could be the New Yorkers coming in. They could be gun malls, and that'd be cool. I know a mobster actor or two. That could work out.
North Carolina is a very specific Southern accent. It's not quite super Southern, but it's pretty much down there.
Yeah, they don't open their mouth when they talk. They have a little hole that big. They barely open it. That's why they sound like that. I can't do that accent, but that's what they do. They barely open their mouth.
Sounds like Jimmy Carter.
I like it. I could just do them going to the deli. It's like, how much meat do you want? About a 3/4 pound now. 3/4 pound.
Speaking of Southern, so Kentucky is the gateway to the South. And we're talking about how Katy Perry has moved to Kentucky. She just kind of announced it.
I was just looking that up. She's
I saw her post on Facebook or on Twitter someplace. I was like, what?
People went crazy over it. I mean, it's all over the news. Now, of course, Amber and Johnny are still the headliners.
Amber Turd.
The poo-poo platter.
I heard she was going to go country.
What, Katy?
She did.
Yeah.
She did.
Dude, guys,
she
she's
already?
Dee Dee's neighbor.
And Michael, sort of. Michael needs to move back. I don't know what the hell you're doing out on the West Coast. Seriously.
Yeah, she had just got an
you
agent
need to
in
move
LA.
too. Just move to North Carolina. Anyway, I just want all my friends to be in a good place, and I just worry about you in California. You know, those the it's not mobsters. It's you're going to get mobbed by the mob that are like, you know, taking down the windows on Rodeo Drive and saying they're going to eat the rich, and they've got all the camps out, and you have to wear 6 masks. Do I need to go on here, Tom? So you know,
I'm up in the hills.
Well, when I have to go work in LA, I take my wrecked car, so
That's
I don't have
good.
to worry about that stuff.
That's good.
They tell you don't wear your jewelry, don't wear your fancy watch. So
Wait,
it's like, okay,
I'll make
No,
sure
law
not to wear
enforcement
my
says that now.
$200,000 watch.
wait,
Law
what,
enforcement says that now. Do not wear jewelry, and that's crazy.
what does that
it's
mean
really crazy.
for those of us that don't live in LA? What does that mean, that the red car? What does that mean?
No, okay, Tom.
Wrecked car.
Sorry.
I've got an SUV that I
Like a
use when we're
clunker.
out shooting film. It's all dented up because I only use it to carry equipment in.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
don't care.
why?
Like you have a wreck. That's what he said. Not red. Wrecked car.
Wreck.
Wrecked. Oh,
Yeah, like all dented up.
Like it's a
Beater.
jalopy.
it's a
I
bad,
don't-
like it's bad neighborhood. LA's like a bad neighborhood. Like,
Can
Yeah.
I don't take my new car. All of LA now. They just had
Really?
some big smash and grab in Rodeo Drive yesterday. Yeah, it was unreal.
Yesterday,
And it
tell
takes
us about it.
hundreds,
I
if
didn't
not
hear that
millions.
yet.
Well, I was just watching on the news. I don't have all the details, but it was a smash and grab at a jewelry store again. They just went in and stole everything off the cases. Millions of dollars, if not hundreds of thousands or whatever.
And Tom,
It's
that
crazy.
just happened about a month ago in Beverly Hills. And I mean,
I
and then
know.
they took like what, $4 million or something. It's in the middle of the day, and they were trying to lower, you know, like the metal wall or whatever, and they're just like grabbing before it goes down, and they got up with $4 million. So Sue Ann, you were in California and you escaped. So are you happier now? Do you feel safer now? I mean, you're in a great area, Boston. The Boston area is great. Do you miss it? Can't hear you.
Oh, she might be muted.
She is. So, okay, so Kurt's here.
Hi,
Hello.
Boston's great.
Boston's
Kurt.
great. So Kurt's in Indiana, and he just got, you know, and everybody's doing so well here. So Kurt just got his grades back. And
Hey.
did you get all A's? I'm sure you did, as usual.
Yeah, I'm still batting 1,000 at Vanderbilt, and I just
Wow.
got all of my grades in as a professor, so all of my students have their grades now too, so they can know whether they passed or not. Most
The
of them did.
Commodore.
So yeah. Basically, if you show up, you can pass. It's hard. You have to work hard to fail my classes. Some people still manage to. But there you go.
God, I wish you would have been my professor.
I know, boy, Kurt, boy, I'd love to have him as a professor. It's really tough to fail. You got to really work hard at it.
And
So,
yes,
Kurt,
they do.
So congratulations. That's great
Thank
for your
you.
18th degree, or I don't know which one is this.
Somewhere in there, as I say, I
Yeah,
have
so many.
too many and not enough.
So many. But you know, that's why it's like you mentioned something, Kurt's like, yeah, you know, I know the longitude and latitude of that place, as well as, you know, the temperature. And like right now, this is Kurt. He's our Cliff Clavin. Right? Cheers, Sue Ann.
Cheers. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
yay!
Cheers.
Yay, Sue Ann. So when you were talking, we were talking about Red Sox. Yeah. Not LA. Not
So
LA.
I think she's become acclimated to Boston.
Boston's great.
I think I'm now. I'm pretty happy in New England. I was in California for about 3 weeks, and there are certain things that I miss about California, but I really don't miss the assholes. And there were plenty of them to remind me why I'm not there. So
That's true.
Wow.
So true.
Yeah. I was talking
You want to
to
know what happened to me yesterday? I hit a stop sign at the same time as this guy, and I wave him. I'm like, go ahead. And he doesn't wave back at me. He just smokes his cigarette. He goes, and I was
You
like,
in
what
LA?
the heck is wrong with you? What is
Are
wrong
you
with
in
you?
LA?
No, I'm up here in the mountains, like north of Sacramento.
in LA,
Oh,
they may
okay.
shoot you for that. They're waving, thinking you're giving them the finger or something or whatever, and you'll get shot in LA. It's that bad.
Wow.
I saw you just signed with an agency in L.A.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Good for you. Congrats.
Thank
He's
you so
fancy.
much. Yeah, I mean, occasionally I'll drive down for an in-person audition, but I'd rather just do a long drive in there, get out, and go down when I need to.
Mm-hmm. How long does it take you, Michael? I've never asked you that. How far are you from LA?
Well, the way I drive, about 7 hours.
Okay, so you're far enough away. You're good. I tease you about it, but that's good. You're not even close to all that madness. So good for you.
Yeah,
Sacramento's about 5 hours, isn't it?
Yeah, 5 or 6. Yeah, 5.
So what do you all
That's
think
nice
about?
up there.
What do you all think about? So we've got a good mix here of folks. Kurt's Indiana, like me, and Kathy's in Miami. Tom is in LA, so I'm glad we did get an LA guy. And you're on the West Coast, but you're far enough away. But still, you're in LA a lot, Michael. And again, before the pandemic, I was in LA most of the time. I hated it, but we were there because, Paul's an actor. That's what you do.
And I miss seeing you at the bar.
Yeah, I know. Oh gosh, I totally miss being there. Tom's talking about the American Legion, the Hollywood American Legion. It's the best bar on the planet. It is so gorgeous. They've done a lot of movie scenes. Well, Tom, tell us about the movie scenes there. Clark Gable has a chair there. He's out all the time, and all these
Humphrey
big stars.
Bogart does. Jimmy Stewart was a member there. Ronald Reagan. You name all the actors who were in World War II or World War I even were members there, and a number of films have been filmed there. The Shining. I can't even think of all the movies. And this past week, they rented the whole place for HBO's coming out with a new series. They shot 6 episodes there this last week.
You know what the series is, Tom? The name of the series?
No, I don't know yet. But once I find out, I'll let you know.
But you know what? I do recognize it here and there that they use that room because, it's Art Deco. It's beautiful. We should all do a road trip. We've got to do a Drinks with Dee Dee there. You'll all be invited. If you show up, that would be great. But right, Tom? We'll just do a podcast from there. It'll be fun.
Is it on Highland?
Yeah, it's on Highland.
All right.
2300 Highland, something like that.
And then
we just shot a concept short there, Back to Brooklyn, a 1950s mobster.
I love your mobster themes. That's great. No, remember the
shot it.
I don't
shot
know.
it there.
I felt bad because I kind of teased her. I'm like, well, don't you think you need a few Italians in that? I was just teasing her because
I know, right? Well, we had the guys in there that pretended to be Italian. Actually, they did a pretty good job.
Well, that's good.
BJ played a nerdy, like Don Knotts Italian, and I have to say he was pretty funny, even though he comes from Missouri.
Missouri.
Isn't it expensive though to shoot in LA? Isn't that why everyone's leaving?
Not at the Post.
There's a lot more of these all-inclusive studios popping up, so you can shoot everything on set, so you don't have to have an LA street permit. And some of them are pretty nice, where you don't even have to leave the building to shoot what you're shooting.
Oh,
because of that, it's so expensive.
You have a great point. Because Hollywood is just it's so expensive, so people are getting out and filming elsewhere because it's so much easier.
My audition
Netflix
2 weeks ago, I drove down to audition in person, and they were going to shoot in Dallas.
Yeah, like Georgia, Perry's. Everything's in Georgia.
Georgia's huge, Kathy. Atlanta. I mean, and then you've got Perry. What's his first name?
Tyler Perry.
Tyler Perry. Mm-hmm. Well, of course, you've got it in with that, Kathy. So yeah. I mean, Atlanta's huge.
Netflix just built a huge studio in Albuquerque.
Well, they better.
Wow.
Is there a bleeding money? What the heck with Netflix? I mean, they're just bleeding money, firing everybody. Although I thought that Meghan Markle fire was a good thing.
New Mexico's the best state to shoot in. You can get away with murder there.
Because they murder. I mean, that place is rough.
Very funny.
Yeah.
New Mexico's rough. I mean, Paul and I did the cross country train thing. You almost divorced me after.
I remember that.
That was hard on him. He's a big guy, and he's used to kind of the luxury thing, So
you got to drive through there.
I think
loved it.
You loved
the speed limit's 90. So it's a great state to drive through.
I'm just saying, we got off the train. I got off the train there because I was looking around. I almost missed the train. I mean, it was scary. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be stuck here. I'm going to die. I mean, because it's rough. I'm not a fraidy cat or anything, but that's kind of rough around me.
Did he stick his hand out the door and hold it out for you as you were
we
running
were
to get it?
We were 5 seconds from that. Because Paul's got a big old arm, right? He could totally snatch me up. I mean, I'm not skinny. I mean, I'm big. I'm eating one and drink whenever I want. But Paul could do it. Big Paul could do it. But yeah, so let's go ahead, Cathy.
You made it seem so glamorous. I remember you were like talking about it along the way.
I loved it. I loved every minute of it. I thought it was glamorous. I thought it was fabulous. And Paul said, "This is a shithole. Why are you making me do this? I can't even turn around to take a pee. This is the worst." He was so mad at me. He's like, "I am never doing this again."
I thought it was romantic.
Everything's real little. I mean, so we got two cars, right? Or two, whatever, suites. And it was, the luggage fit in one. That's how bad it was. The luggage fit in one, and it was like bunk beds, but they're not, oh God, I loved it. But Paul, it was his freaking nightmare. I mean, Paul he's picky. He's used to the best food. Food sucks. No room. Then, that's another show. We'll talk about trains on another show.
Hey, that's a movie right there.
That is a movie. I'm telling you. I mean, that was crazy. But let's talk about Katy Perry moving to Kentucky and about how everyone is getting the heck out of LA. And that was a surprise because, Kurt, Katy Perry's, she's a glamorous. She's a beautiful, glamorous singer. I don't know. Is she an actress at all? Has she done any acting?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. At least not yet.
But Orlando Bloom is a big time actor, and here they are all of a sudden in Kentucky. I loved it because I'm like, hey, we did it 2 years ago. We are way ahead of the curve. So it was the Sorvinos first. I'm not kidding, because we're all, seriously, me, Katy Perry, and Kat Von D. I'm not kidding you. We're all in the same little area. And Michael would be too if he'd move back home.
Can I do a shout out for Sophia? Sophia's quote, California girls. Katy Perry sings California girls are the best.
Sing it for us.
Sophia,
I don't know that song.
Bikinis on top, Daisy Dukes, California girls.
I don't know the song.
It's her #1 hit, and she even sang it. She even posted it yesterday on Twitter for a UK brand, like an Uber Eats for the UK. Yesterday, she said she was a California girl, and she announced she's in Kentucky. She's known to be a California girl. And my 12-year-old said, "But she's a California girl. How could she be in Kentucky?" She's 12. Well, that's a shout out. The youth of America only know her as a California girl.
Oh, Sue's a California girl, and she's in Boston.
Well, she didn't sing about it yesterday.
Good point, Cathy.
Well,
I think it's the #1 hit. I think it might have went platinum, that song.
Yeah. So
if they're singing about California in England, though, no one in England's going to know that it isn't right next door. So because it's flyover, so all a flyover is just like right between New York and California, right? It's all next door.
Yeah, everybody else, if you're in California, well, if you're in LA or New York, there's only LA and New York. Everything else is flyover. You're right, Kurt. And in England, it's even worse, right? Yeah. Nobody cares unless you're in LA, or they're like, what? It's kind of like, oh, Indiana, I love Chicago. Yeah. I mean,
nobody there knows how big the United States is, though. I mean, that's the thing. They're used to small countries. Everything is right next door. You drive 4 hours in Europe and you've gone through 5 different countries and 17 different languages. Whereas here in America, you might still go through 17 different languages, but you'll still be in the same country.
Or accents, at least. But in Miami, Cathy just told me today that in Miami, Spanish is the #1 language.
Yeah, it happened. I don't know how many years ago, but it was documented that it went over 51%. So it became the first city in the United States that went over 51% where English wasn't the dominant language. So, yep, bienvenido a Miami. Spanish first.
Well, I know you're
surprised me there.
Cuban, lovely woman, but don't you think in America that English should be the #1? In fact, I think it should be the official language. I'm sorry, that's just how I feel.
And it's not. Can you believe?
I know it's not. It should be. English should be the official language.
Yeah, but They'd have to pay for it though. If they actually did it, they'd have to pay for the English classes. So they haven't made it the official language.
We'll figure it out. I'm just saying, look, if I was going to move to Mexico or France, I'm going to learn the language because, you know, if you're going to go there, you should assimilate and learn the language. But guess what? I'm not doing that. But if I did, I think I should be expected to assimilate and do that. I think people that come to our country, and I'm like, look, I don't know, why are we paying for 16 different languages at the BMV? And I'm like, if you can't read the street sign, I think we got a problem.
Because they won't make English.
You're the resident historian here. You've got your bachelor's in history, right? What was it that was it Roosevelt that made a proclamation at one point that said basically, we'll welcome you through Ellis Island. You can emigrate here. We will take care of you, but you have to learn the language, and you have it.
Yeah, but guess what? They're not, especially in
I don't think it was Roosevelt.
Who was it? Somebody did.
Roosevelt either. I don't know.
Unless it was Teddy Roosevelt, but
TR. But see, I mean, I don't know, Kurt. That doesn't seem like a TR thing to me.
It doesn't. It doesn't. I'm not sure.
No, it doesn't either. You're right. I would say Wilson.
Yeah,
I'd probably say
maybe Wilson. Yeah, that is very Wilson. So I will look at that for next time. We'll figure that out. But
yeah, that could be a World War I kind of thing, like all the refugees coming in from other countries.
Yeah, no, it was Roosevelt. Yeah. So
really?
I mean,
yeah.
Wow. Franklin D.
Theodore.
No, really? Really? I'm so surprised.
That's out of character for him.
Yeah, totally it is.
The Naturalization Act of 1906, standard naturalization procedures, blah, 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 included a mastery of the English language.
I know, but what does that mean? Doesn't mean anything.
Learn the language, baby.
Of the English language. Unless you say English.
All I know is it make it easier for me to talk to my landscaper.
You know what? Kathy is like just not wanting to hear that song. I'm just saying, you know, she's
no.
I was reading an article today, earlier today. The United States is now has the second largest Spanish speaking population in the world. Mexico is number one, but we have, as a country, more Spanish speakers than any other country in the world. Yeah. And the article's context was, why don't we have universities that teach in Spanish? Which is
no, absolutely no bueno. Sorry, Kathy, but no fucking bueno.
Here's the thing.
I just think, you know, just learn English. Don't be taught that. I just think it's out of control. I don't like it. And look, my husband he speaks Spanish for the most part and Italian. I speak English. And that's it, and barely that, right?
Well, my wife speaks Spanish because she's Mexican, so that makes it really easy.
I know, but I still think, look, I mean, if I move to Spain, I'm going to learn Spanish. If I move to France, I'm going to learn French. But I just think that in our country that English should be the official language, but it's not. It's not. Look, if Trump didn't do it, what the hell? I mean, that's something Trump should have done, but he didn't do it. Do you think?
Hey, look what happened in Canada. Canada, most Canadians don't speak to anyone from Quebec.
Oh yeah, Quebec. I mean, they're like you know.
It's like I had to deal with them at one point. It was French. Like, oh my god, I can't believe the animosity between the two.
No, they're very snooty. Look, here's the thing: the Mexicans are sweet about it. They're cool. I mean, you know, they're like, and they usually speak English for a little bit, or they'll like get a like their phone. And like, okay, here's what it is. And they're very sweet about it. But in Canada, they're such assholes. If you're in Quebec, the French are such assholes.
The language is so beautiful, though. Why should they bother speaking English? It hurts their ears, they say. I love it.
American. Your history is Coca-Cola.
I love it.
I have no history. My chair is older than your country. I mean, I have heard these people. They're so snooty.
Yeah.
I would say, you know, Mexicans are sweet people, but French Canadians are assholes, totally. I mean, I don't know. I almost think they're worse than the French in France. Have y'all been there? You know, to Quebec? I mean, they're like mean.
Yeah,
they are. They are.
They, you know, it's a bilingual city, and the McDonald's workers have to say bonjour, hello. So it's kind of unwritten to speak to someone in French first. And they fired a McDonald's worker because he said hello. What can I get for you?
Air Canada
Yeah.
will do that too. And the thing is, Air Canada does that all the way across Canada. So I was in Calgary getting on the plane, and I was talking, and I went up to an Air Canada representative, and he started out in French. So they're just trained to always start out in French because they
of that
don't
poor
want to make the
McDonald's worker.
assumption
Because
that
they're
you
crazy
don't.
mean.
McDonald's worker.
They're fucking crazy mean. I mean, this is just, I mean, the French, I mean, they are crazy fucking mean. But I've said this before, Sue Ann, you'll get this being in Boston. Do you know what I'm going to say? Do you know why I give the French a pass, even though they're total assholes?
The poutine,
Do you know why I give them a
Oh,
pass?
poutine's very good.
the French fries with the gravy.
Like
Give 'em a
Kathy, I
pass.
love that.
Keep
I'm
too
from
warm in the winter.
Kentucky, because I'm from Kentucky. It's kind of like biscuits and gravy sort of. I'm like, anything with gravy, I'm going to just shove it in. I love
Give them a
it.
pass on that one.
I love it. And I love French food because it's all about the rich gravy. So
Yeah, come on,
I love it. But they're still assholes.
come on.
The reason I give the French a pass, you know, actually Kurt's going to know this. Kurt, do you know why I give the French
I'm
a
going to
pass?
take a guess. It's because of the French support during the Revolutionary
I
War.
was going to
That's
say
right.
Lafayette.
Yep, that's it.
Oh, there you go.
Lafayette. See, we have Lafayette here in Indiana. We have
That's
a city
right.
in that name. Yes.
Even though I curse them, I give them hell. I mean, I'm like, you know, well, I mean, the Germans marching, hey, okay. I mean, not since Napoleon have you had some balls. I'm just saying, you know, so I love to like tease the French, but in the end, they saved our ass. In the end, I mean, they came through. Marquis de Lafayette. So yeah, you're right. So I always give them a pass.
They're great. I went to Montreal and did like 8 shows, and they're all English speaking shows. And then
I know, but that's Montreal though. That's different than what.
But
no,
still,
no,
there was
no,
10%.
no, Montreal. You're right. That's the
There was like
assholes.
10% that
But
did
it's
only
really-
French speaking shows, and I just
10%?
thought that was a little. In Montreal, they're like only French. You can only speak French and do stand up.
At all the comedy places.
10%. Only
okay.
10%. The other 80 or the other 90 was like, you know, do whatever. But yeah, there's 10% that's like, you must speak French on these shows.
Yeah.
I used to go to
In a
Ontario.
lot of the shows in Montreal, they're going to be catering to the tourists, and the tourists are going to want English because English is everyone's second language around the world.
Right.
Whether or not they
Yes,
have a different,
very true.
it is now. That's why you can go to Germany, you can go to Norway, you can go to a lot of different places, and they have universities there that teach in English.
It used to be French.
Not just for people who come from the U.S. or from Britain or such, but because the people in those countries need to have not just a knowledge of English, but they need to have a business adequate and professional adequate knowledge of English.
Here's a bit of trivia. All aviation and navigational traffic for the seas has to be in English.
Yep.
All your pilots.
Yep. If you have a
Isn't
pilot
the international language
crews
still
have to speak
French?
English. Your air traffic
well,
controllers, everybody has to
it's
speak
the
English.
diplomatic language. French is still the diplomatic language, but it's not the operational language. Like
Yeah.
what Tommy's talking about. If you take off from a plane in Paris, France, and you fly over France and Germany and Poland and Belarus, good luck doing that now, and Russia and Mongolia and China and Korea and Japan, you have not crossed over one English-speaking country, but every air traffic controller that you talk to along the way will be doing it in English.
Oh,
And
really?
that's because if a pilot goes from one country to another, you can't risk that they don't know the language and thus can't figure out what to do. So every pilot learns enough English and every air traffic controller learns enough English to get by for what they need. It is the lingua franca, as it were.
It's easier. It's an easier language because it doesn't have masculine or feminine or plurals when you have the table. You don't have to learn la table. You don't have to learn any masculine, feminine, plurals.
Yeah, true.
It's a very simple language. So French is very complicated.
Yes.
It sounds beautiful, but it's a mess. It's too hard. So the Jackie Kennedy days, those days, the Camelot days are over. We just want to be practical. It's a very practical.
No, but I still thought the French was the international language, the official wasn't it at one time?
It still is the diplomatic language. If you have a treaty between different countries, the official version will still be the French version, even though it will be translated out into others, because again, that's the way things are agreed upon. So
It
it's
is
not-
gorgeous. It is the most beautiful language. It is. Let's just admit it. Even though
there
they're
was a
assholes,
dispute. There was a
they do
dispute
have the most
between-
beautiful language, and they've got good wine too.
Yeah. Oh well, no one can. No. Yeah.
Oh, that way they can swear at you and you'll smile because it sounds so nice.
Fun of the Americans more than anybody else. They want to bitch about the Americans, like Americans. I mean, that's what they love to do.
But give us your money.
Yeah. Well, of course. So anyway, everyone's and here's the thing: it's not just leaving California to go to the rest of the country. It's leaving in all other countries to come to America. America is still the best place in the world. Even though we've got issues right now, it's still the best country in the world. We can be proud of that. That's great. But let's make fun of Cali for a minute, okay? For like another minute. Because look, I love the fact that we're getting the hell out of this hellhole. I mean, this is bad. And Tom, I love you, but I worry about you. I mean, because it's kind of dangerous. You have to wear 6 masks and all that sort of thing. And in Indiana, Kentuckiana, I'll say, because Katy Perry moved to Kentucky and Kat Von D. Now, did we talk about this? Do you all know who Kat Von D is? Kat Von D.
The tattoo
Raise
artist.
your hand if you know who she is. Okay. All right. So I didn't know who she was rather. I still kind of don't get her, but she's a big deal in the tattoo world. Now, clearly I don't have any tattoos. I wear a wedding ring. That's it. And a hat. But Kat Von D apparently is the shit when it comes to tattoos. She had a reality show. She sells shoes. That's her. She's a big deal.
She's got a big parlor in Hollywood.
Well, guess what? She moved to Indiana, 30 miles down the road from me.
Mm-hmm.
So let me tell you about Kentuckiana for a minute, which I'm very proud of this because it was weird because, I said, all right, we got to get out of LA. It's not safe. New York is not safe. We have to have a safe place. So I picked Madison, Indiana, which is kind of small. It's right on the river. Our back terrace, it's like, oh, hi, Kentucky. Hi, Katie. So anyway, so it's lovely. It has the longest contiguous historic street. Our whole main street is a historic landmark, the longest in the country.
Oh.
Frank Sinatra came and did a movie. Some came running. There's even a movie called Madison. It's beautiful. Anybody who goes there is like, oh, I've fallen in love with it. But I want you all to come at some point. We'll do a Drinks with Dee Dee there. But so I'm like, we need a safe place because this is when the pandemic was at fever pitch. And Kurt knows Madison, right? I mean, Madison is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And so is Bloomington, but Bloomington's kind of the big city version of Madison. Kurt's in the big city. We're in like the little,
Not
little
compared
town.
to LA, of course.
Right. But still, for Indiana, in the beautiful southern Indiana area of the world, Bloomington's got Indiana University. And then Madison is just picturesque and gorgeous, right? I don't know. Kurt, you explain it. How would you explain Madison?
Well, it never grew up out of the sort of mid 1800s to mid 1900s. It still has that feel to it. And it's been overlooked, thankfully, by a lot of major industry. It's been overlooked by a lot of major transportation systems. So it's been preserved. It has really been preserved. It's really nice.
Yeah, it's like if you go downtown, you go to the main street, you're like, oh my gosh, this is gorgeous. What in the world? But what is this place? And that's why people, when they visit, they stay. They love it. You have a lot of people from all over the world. Someone just came from Switzerland the other day, and they're like, oh, and he was going to be there for a day, stayed for a week because it's so gorgeous. Mm-hmm. Anyway,
what's the main source of revenue? Is it agriculture?
Tourism.
There?
I would say tourism.
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 And you have casinos on the boats on the river.
Where Kat Bondi, whatever. So anyway, so Paul and so I'm like, all right, we need a safe house from the pandemic. So we bought something in Madison because, I went to school right there at Hanover. My mom was down the road, whatever. So, and then people are like, well, you started a trend. I'm like, what are you talking about? Kat Von D just bought a place in Beebe, which is like 30 miles down the river. And I'm like, what? Who's that? You know, and she's like a big freaking deal. And that's her mansion, right? It's
Yep.
like it's like a
Yep.
haunted mansion. So, you know, and that's what she does. She's gothic. She's got like, you know, the black hair and does all the gothic stuff and has tattoos everywhere, but she's very, very, very popular, very popular. So anyway, so she's 30 miles to the east. Now, Katy Perry is just south of us. I'm just saying, everybody is hightailing it out of LA because it's too expensive, it's too crazy, it's not safe. And these celebrities and these people that, you know, are, I mean, look, they can afford to be anywhere they want to. It's not the money. They just
You're
want
not
to be
too far.
safe. Quality
You're
of
not
life.
too far from Louisville, are you?
No, no. I'm very close to Louisville.
Yeah.
I just
these-
moved
these-
a friend of mine. She's a celebrity, mainly in Nashville, but I just helped her move to Louisville.
No,
Took
she's
her,
my
took her
neighbor.
stuff from L.A. Met a truck in Kingsman, Arizona, loaded it on there, and they took it to Louisville.
So
So-
Louisville, dude.
I was just looking at the map, and Nashville, you take 71 to Louisville, and then there's another road that goes to Cincinnati, and then above that's where Madison is, and Katy Perry's here, Dee Dee's there. And
No, like we're like a triangle now. Like I'm at the top, and here's the mansion here, Kat Von D. And she made a big deal about it. Paul's not like that. We don't advertise where we are. We don't talk about it. We don't do stories. We had probably 40 like news outlets saying, "Can we?" No, not commenting.
Yeah.
But she's different, and that's fine. I respect that. But she's like, "We bought this." However, she had a crazy person a month later on her doorstep, like acting like a nut job, and like they're going to kill her. So that is why we don't do that.
That's
You
what I
know,
was going to ask.
the locals know. The locals protect us. The locals are cool, but we just don't do that. We've not done any interviews. We don't talk about where we are, whatever. But she just went, you know, hey, here we are. But she didn't understand that crazy people will show up at your door.
It just takes one. That's
No
the
matter
problem.
where you are.
It
That's
just
what-
takes one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's
only
what I
two
like
people.
about Narco. Narco, everybody knows who we are, but nobody cares and nobody bothers us, and we're kind of protected here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, far
Yeah.
enough from LA
Did Tommy freeze up?
that we don't have to deal with that, and it's like a small town almost, and so we love it here, and that's the only thing holding me in California.
Oh, that's right, Tommy, because you said you're outside of LA, and it's kind of like they're like more Republican, or they're more like, we'll say,
We have a bubble here.
constitutional- You have a bubble. Well, I hope it doesn't burst. But the reason, you know, Kat Von D did like that big mansion, so we had something similar in Madison we were looking at, but I'm like, wow, there are like 52 windows, so many ways in. So I'm like, we just went with Main Street. It's like door in the front, door in the back, and then we have the ADT platinum job that nobody's getting in unless we know about it, right? So I mean, we were kind of looking in
Cool.
safety.
And if you're in Main Street, you're going to have the police and the other
Totally.
administration right there for you. This mansion that Kat Von
It's
D got
dangerous.
has,
It's kind of
has
dangerous.
34 rooms. I mean, so think about how many ways in.
Oh, so many ways.
And
So
since
many
it's
ways.
haunted, you'll never know whether it's a ghost or not.
I know, right?
Yeah,
No, so
right.
we looked at a place similar that even kind of looked a little bit like that in Madison on a hill, gorgeous, or whatever. But I'm like, how do we protect it? Because we were not there all the time. And if Paul's there, we're a target, whatever. It's not that I'd worry about the Madison people. I just worried about who
People.
knows what. So
Well,
you know
so
what?
this is an
Front
area.
door, back door. That's what we want.
This is an area where you had a lot of people from Cincinnati and a lot of people from Louisville in the late 1800s who were largely with the railroads and other shipping concerns build their out of the city place. So this was sort of their weekend and their summer getaways from their city places. And
Yeah, I was looking at
that's
that.
why they're in
42
real,
minutes to Louisville from.
yeah,
Katy
that's why
Perry's
they're
town.
really good for transportation back and forth there. But you're far enough out that you don't have to worry about it so much. But again, yeah, safety is a concern because it just takes one person.
Crazy.
And speaking to that, I noticed on your Wikipedia page, or I think Paul's Wikipedia page, it lists Madison, Indiana. As,
Good. I'm glad.
It does, yeah.
I mean, look, we were on the down low about it, but still, it's going to get out. But I mean, but Kat Von D's like, here's where we live. I'm like, oh my God, why would you do that? I mean, good for her, and I hope she does well. But I was like, oh, we would never do that. That's crazy. But eventually, it will happen. But we've been pretty much on the down low, and the locals are cool. You know, they're cool.
But like
Kathy,
New York,
how's Miami?
Miami, it's funny because everyone from New York moved down. So
Totally, they do.
I think I set the trend, but no one really went all the way down to Miami, because I think the Spanish thing, but I grew up in Miami and, you know, Cuban from Miami, no hay problema, but everyone.
Welcome to
Miami. So anyone that grew up in Miami, it's fine. It pulls us back eventually. But they stopped, like a lot of the Fox folks moved back down to Miami or you know, Fort Lauderdale, wherever they were from. A lot of FSU folks, Florida State University or whatever, came back to Florida. Lower prices than New York. But just like LA, it sounds like what y'all are saying. When New Yorkers, everyone makes fun of New Jersey on the late night shows and in New York and SNL, because they're actually living in New Jersey. They commute in and out of the city. And
New Jersey's the worst. I'm sorry. They suck.
But everyone's
I like New Jersey.
No, you don't, Michael.
I
You're such a
do.
liar. You've never even fucking been there.
I went to
You're a
Hoboken.
total liar.
a lot of
love
us
You're
live in
Jersey
New
Shore.
Jersey.
You've got a crush on Snooki. That doesn't count.
No.
Not on the shore, but a lot of us lived in the little town. There were about 12 Fox News people living in New Jersey, driving in an hour to go to Fox News, complaining about New Jersey, but living in New Jersey, going to New York, and then going back out to New Jersey. Some are living in Connecticut and saying they're in New York, but not. Yeah, so it's the same thing. It sounds like in LA. You're
Yeah,
going
it
to
is.
LA.
It is.
Okay, it sounds
Yeah.
With Tom and with Michael, I mean, they're on the outskirts, but to do business, they go in, just like New York. You're right.
like that's what it
No.
sounds
Yeah.
like. I didn't know that. I didn't know.
Oh yeah, I mean in New
Oh
York,
yeah, we
a
got
lot
a number of
they wanna
LA
be in the
people that
city.
live in Orange County. You know, they live there.
But Tom, that commutes like 2 hours or something, right?
That's
Crazy.
why
commute.
that's why you kind of schedule things if you can around those traffic times.
Yes, yeah. I have a couple of friends who live in Santa Barbara, and they do that sort of. I mean, that's a long commute in and out, but they only come in a couple of days a week. But they'd much rather be out in Santa Barbara area.
Well, Santa Barbara, hello, Oprah. I mean, you know, that's where all the Richies, total Richies live. I mean, you know, I don't want to even say Meghan Markle because I fucking hate her. I'm sorry, don't be mad at her. I can't stand
about
her.
a week-
But that's where she lives.
Kevin
About a week ago,
Costner,
I
the
had to go
Bridges
to
brothers.
NBC.
Do you like her, Sue Ann? Please, you're so nice. You're going to say you like her, don't you? You're going to say you
No.
like her.
Meghan Markle? No.
Oh, good.
Hate.
No, can't stand her.
No.
I'm so glad
no.
when they canceled her Netflix show. I'm like, well, okay.
I have
Hello,
absolute
of course.
disdain for her. I absolutely have a disdain for her. That's
I know. I think it's terrible what she's done. I mean, that's like another show, but you know, the poor queen, she lost her husband, you know, and they're like doing this tell-all stuff and they're being jerks. I'm like, look, Kurt, you're so nice, but don't you think Meghan Markle is scum?
Yeah. You know, that is why I dislike her, because of what the rift she has caused.
I feel sorry for the queen. I do.
You
I
know?
feel sorry for her. Because, you know. But
I
anyway,
want him to make a show about
not-
Prince Andrew.
do.
Isn't that going to be one of those Skinamax things, though, if we have to do a Prince Andrew show?
Gotta go see my friend Jeff in New Mexico.
God.
I would totally be in New Mexico for sure. God, New Mexico. I mean, of all states, I have to say, I mean, is there a state worse than New Mexico? Let's have a vote.
New
Is
Jersey.
Oh.
I like
that's
New
a close
Mexico.
one,
It's
man.
cool.
That is a
I-
close one.
Well, you can.
I do too.
Well,
I mean, the aliens picked New Mexico, so it's got to have something to
The
go.
what? Oh, yeah,
Alien.
Roswell, of course. Of course.
Listen, New Mexico's got Santa Fe and Albuquerque. Outside of that, I
Yeah.
could care less about.
I know, but Albuquerque's bad. That's why I
Yeah,
felt like I was going
but-
to die when I ran off the train. I had to run backward. I mean, I thought I was going to
Right.
die in Albuquerque, but I think Santa Fe's nice. But that might be kind
Santa
of
Fe is really nice.
Yeah.
So one of
Hopefully it can
Only
say that
Oasis-
gem.
One of my favorite
That song
actors
is the
is
best.
one of my favorite actors is Gene Hackman, and I think he
Yeah.
lives in Santa Fe or Albuquerque. And he was going in a restaurant, and somebody badmouthed his wife. They called her like a bad name, and then Gene Hackman smacked his shit out of the guy.
That's what Paul would do. If somebody called my name, Paul would shoot them in the fucking dick. I mean, it would be so bad. Paul would kill them. So good for Gene Hackman. And you
I
know,
know.
and I know that Kurt and I,
That's
have
what we're
an
missing in
affinity.
Hollywood now.
Hey,
Kurt and I
I've
have
got
an
a.
affinity for Gene. Now, Kurt, tell him why.
So, well,
You
No,
know
that's-
why we have an affinity for.
Come on, Hoosiers.
Of
What a great
course.
movie.
of course, yeah.
But gee,
Yeah.
Michael, I'm glad you answered the fucking question for Father Kurt. I mean, give him a little fucking courtesy. I mean, we're the devil. I'm Diablo. He's like, but so I probably shouldn't say this, but I will. So Michael, I won't say where, but he just auditioned to be like ghetto Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
Michael?
He's hobo Jesus. I won't say where, when.
Hobo Jesus in
Hobo
a
Jesus.
LA neighborhood.
Sounds
Yeah.
right. Sounds about
I know
right.
that's right, Kathy. Is that not right? Hobo
No,
Jesus.
sounds perfect. Yeah.
I was just about to trim up and shave, and then I get an email,
No.
and
No,
they're
you
like,
know, Michael, whenever
Yeah.
you put the spandex on, you're like, I'm going to trim up. I was like, sickened by it.
"No, I mean
I
like
was
trim the
sickened
beard,
by it.
trim it." You
Yeah.
know,
It works.
You know, I felt like it was like, what was that movie with John Travolta when he was like perfect?
Oh,
There was
Saturday
really
Night Fever?
easy- No,
No,
worse.
Urban
Really?
Cowboy.
No, worse.
No, well, see,
Perfect.
but
Really?
see, in Urban
That's a great
Cowboy,
film.
the first scene he had to go in and shave off his beard. He had a beard at the start, and then
No,
to
no,
get
no,
the
this is
job
way
at the oil
worse.
company, he had to
I think
shave
it
off
was
the
called
beard.
Perfect or
But-
something.
but-
Swan, you got to help me out. You got to look this up.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
this is like where he's with like Jamie Lee Curtis, and he's like,
Oh, yeah, I remember
running,
that bad
and
film.
he's like
That-
in
that-
the spandex, and I'm like hillbilly here with the beard and like
I-
like flip mode, and then he's in spandex.
That's called
going, I'm
perfect.
freaking out. I'm gonna
yeah,
get, I'm
Yeah,
getting
you're right.
happy. And then
Yeah,
in
you're
front of
right.
mine,
This
I'm
is-
like, oh, I saw one Michael was working on. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? No, what is wrong with you?
and
No,
I'm
you're
now
right.
going to have
You're right,
PTSD
Katie, that was
remembering
called
that film.
perfect.
Perfect. Was it perfect?
Yeah.
Yeah. And like you're like in the gym, like in the 80s with your headband grinding away. And Michael, I swear he literally posted, and he could almost see his wiener, which gross, by the way. But anyway, so he had the
Add
spandex on.
shorts
He's like,
on.
I'm working out. And I even had, to my, I couldn't even believe it. I had followers said, oh, well, I saw while Michael was working out in the spandex. I'm like, and you think this is a good thing? I told him, stop.
No.
Okay, that's right, Kurt. Look at that.
Good one, Kurt. That's it.
Travolta, Jamie Lee Curtis, and that's what Michael is trying to do after flip. Hobo Jesus. You're being cast as Hobo Jesus, and then you're putting spandex on where your wiener's sort of sticking out, and I don't want to see that. Nobody does, by the way. And you're like, I'm trimming down. I'm like trying to get more fit. No, stop it. Who are you?
I mean,
my
I got a
God,
guest
Michael.
star, so I need to just stick with the guest star part.
No. You got to roll at Hobo Jesus. Don't forget that. Hobo
And
Jesus
they
is not
asked,
wearing spandex, by the way.
me. They asked me to do a guest star
so good.
part, and for those of you that don't
Nobody
know,
cares.
a
Nobody
guest star.
wants spandex with you in spandex.
No, it's not the
Help me out here.
spandex. They didn't want the spandex. They wanted
Of course
the
not.
beard.
Nobody does.
Yeah.
Nobody wants the spandex.
What
Right.
would Jesus do, Michael? What would Jesus do?
Kathy,
I
right?
know.
Okay.
I think Jesus would CrossFit. I
Hobo
don't think he would
Jesus
do all
works.
this.
There you go.
He'd
Get
be
a
on Peloton.
CrossFit, Jesus.
See, Kurt, that was
Flash Father,
Right? Thank you.
our
That was
favorite
my-
guy. But
that was
even
my
Kurt's
prayer.
against like the spandex, I bet. And Kurt's not against much, but I'm pretty sure.
No, I think that's one of the 8 deadly sins. Spandex.
Kurt, I was like, thank you, Jesus, for this part. If you don't want me to play you, I understand that. That's fine. I won't play you if you don't want me to.
No, see here, I'm having another wonderful production idea now for my next IMDb credit.
Uh-oh.
We should redo the film called Jesus of Montreal. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but we should do it in South LA. And you could be Jesus of South LA. Yeah, I mean, we could do that. We could, and
Exactly, Cathy.
and if you do all
Cathy
the,
can speak the. Can I go to the next Tano in the El Truco? I mean, she can actually speak Spanish.
I actually can, and people look at me and they're just like, "Oh, well, Heidi, you speak Spanish, right?" And I go, "I speak Spanish. Come on."
But you're hobo Jesus. But seriously, Michael, if you ever put on spandex again, I just think you should die. You should just like be done with it.
Because of your roasting, I subliminally lost those, you know, and I get chafing on my
Where
legs.
did you
I'm
even
like,
buy
I'm just gonna take the chafing.
Where did you buy
TMI.
Where did you buy spandex? That's so embarrassing. I'm so embarrassed for you.
No, I never bought spandex. I get it.
You
given.
did. I saw you in it. You're like, I'm slimming up because I'm great. I'm working
It
out.
was gifted to me.
You
It
did
was
a
gift.
fucking post. It's embarrassing.
It was a gift.
A gift.
Embarrassing. That's why I made Mike. I said, just take off your shirt and like be real. You know what I mean? Don't wear the spandex. Don't be like, you know, I mean, but I was so mad when I got like a girl. She was like a fan of yours. It's like, oh, wait, I saw where Michael was working out with spandex. I'm like, oh my God. No.
That's not something that you admit.
But he posted it and talked about it and made a thing.
For free?
For free?
It's gotta be part of your stick, huh?
So anyway, so Kurt, so you've
anyway,
got Michael's
Lululemon,
new thing up.
if you guys want to sponsor me.
No, gross.
Hornitos ain't reaching out. Lululemon.
Well, Hornitos, because in the spandex you were sticking out there, which is disgusting, by the way. You know, nobody likes Speedos or spandex. Just so
It's
you know,
what happens when you live in LA too long.
nobody likes Speedos or spandex.
You're just like, oh, everybody else is doing it.
I'm ashamed of you. You're
you don't have a
Kentucky,
friend
you know
that
better.
says, no, don't do
Kathy
that.
knows that.
You
Look,
need that.
Kathy, I mean, admit
You need
it.
that.
Those Latino guys that always wear the fucking spandex and the Speedos. Oh, I hate that. In Miami, no. Let me tell you what. I went to Miami, and the women just take off their tops. They're like, here are my boobies.
Well,
Okay.
they're the Europeans. And Enrique Iglesias, I'm sure.
About
would
that.
look
Okay,
great.
whatever. I don't care. I'm a woman. I don't care about that. But when the guys are like with the Speedos and the big schlongs hanging down, and it's sticky and gross, Michael, never do that again. I swear to God.
I did not see the
So anyway,
picture. I did not
That's
see
what they do. They do Speedos. It's gross.
but they're from Europe. It's, you know, to each his own. But Michael,
Ew. I know, but Kurt,
No
hey,
bueno.
Indiana Beach, what do you think would happen if Alfredo came and wore the Speedos? What do you think the cops are going to do? I'm just asking.
well, I think they'd try to arrest him, but it would be hard because they wouldn't want to touch him.
I know.
Hey, I've got this little Spanish
Okay.
story.
Go ahead, Tommy.
When I was first dating Lydia,
You were wearing Speedos?
no, I wasn't wearing Speedos, but I was impressed. I was going to impress her because we were in Santa Fe at this restaurant, and she's speaking Spanish to the waiter because it was a Mexican restaurant, and the menu was in Spanish. And then she points at me and says "gringo," and they laugh. It can't be good. So anyhow, while we're in there and we finish, and I say to her, "Well, come on, my little Chi-Chi, let's go." Everybody gets quiet in there. And she looks at me and says, "What did you say?" I said, "Come on, my little Chi-Chi, let's go." And I said, "What's wrong with that?" He says, "You don't know what that means. Don't try to speak Spanish if you don't know what you're saying." And
So, Kathy, what does Chi-Chi mean?
for the Cubans, nothing, but it's a thing. It's a culture by culture basis. I could say some horrible things and no one will look. In Mexico, no one will care. And,
Puno!
no, like Puta's international, but I don't know Chichi. I don't know that
it
one.
means boobs.
Hey, Puno!
It means boobs.
Oh, not for the
And
Cubans.
I'm sitting there going,
It
like,
means
what
what?
do they do?
Boobies.
Boobies.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Chi-Chi's.
There used to be a restaurant called Chi-Chi's.
Yeah, I was gonna ask
Oh
you
my
guys
gosh,
that. Yeah.
I love Chi-Chi's. I'm sorry,
That was
but
that
I
was the
love
Spanish Hooters. Chi-Chi's. That was the Spanish Hooters.
The joke's on us. Oh my God.
So that's when I gave up trying
Chi-Chi's.
to impress her with my limited Spanish.
Hey, Chi-Chi, yeah, let's go. Let's get going, man. Chi-Chi. And then, Pluto! Chi-Chi! When the gringos just, it's when she does it at the ye old oyster house. That's when she yells out stuff, right? So when you've been so quiet, I feel like we've been too brown on the show. Don't be mad. I'm just saying. I feel like because you're in the Northeast. You were in the Northeast now. You're like, I'm above this. I'm not going to joke about Chi-Chi or Pluto because
Navi Boston.
Chi-Chi's are boobies and Pluto is wiener, I think, right? Pluto?
No.
They're like kudos
Why
to
did
you.
everybody get mad when I go Pluto in a restaurant? They go, stop saying that.
With an A.
I thought it was wiener.
No.
What is Punta?
Whore.
I thought it was wiener.
Oh,
Whore.
It's butt?
Punta with Chi-Chi's.
Oh. It's the worst thing you could say to a woman. Puta.
Chi-Chi?
Puta. Puta is international for whore.
Puta.
Whore.
Puta.
Yeah,
Whore.
if you tell her. Yeah. Oh.
And it's a combination between a B and an F. too.
What is puto? I mean, because I'm saying puto.
It's like a male puta.
Yeah, it's not.
Right?
It's powerful. It's saying, "Hijo de puta, you are the son of a whore."
Oh.
That's the worst. Hijo de
That's
puta.
fantastic. I'm so using that on Cameo. By the way, you want to Cameo? I swear to God.
This is
Literally, I'm a fucking legend on Cameo. No.
You are.
Puta.
Yeah. I'm glad you didn't do that for my class on
No. No. Well, because what is that? Do we have 5 minutes or 2 or what?
We're under 5 minutes. They said we used to. So.
Bummer.
Well, they're just doing that because we're cursing and Spanish.
Yeah.
And it's getting good. It's getting good now.
Sorry.
I don't know how to curse in French. I wish I did because
Nerd.
I would love to curse in French.
Nerd.
Nerd.
Yes.
Nerd.
Holy Mary.
Montreal.
Nerd.
Look, Montreal, you're a nerd. Loser. Whatever that means. Okay, guys. So let's wrap it up. So everybody's leaving LA and coming to the hinterlands, coming to kind of like middle America, which I love. I think it's fabulous because they're the red states. I mean, do you think that's going to continue? Do you think it's you think because Biden is like, because I personally think that end of the year, Biden is kaput. I mean, I think the midterms is going to go way red, whatever. So do you think
ratings are another low, historic low? So
yeah,
there's nowhere to go.
Right.
I think we're going to just return to more of a common sense approach to things rather than these extremes on either side.
Yeah.
We got to get back to where we used to be and forget about this partisanship. It's crazy.
Hopefully.
Okay, well, I'm a right winger, so don't hate me. But I understand what you're saying. Because for me, all the left wing stuff is well, Jennifer's back. Thank God, Jennifer. What did you know? Where did you go? Were you on a drinking binge? We've got like 30 seconds left. What do you have to say about Katy Perry moving to Kentucky?
She wanted to make fun of my tights also.
You were smoking a doobie.
I'm so sorry.
And I do know how to say fuck you in French, by the way.
How do you say it?
Va te faire foutre.
Va de Katruka.
Solid closer.
Okay, no. This is very important. How do you say fuck you in French? Say it again.
Va te faire foutre.
Va que faire foutre.
I'll type it out for y'all.
No, see, that's too complicated. That's why nobody speaks that.
Nice.
What does that say?
Va
te faire foutre.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah.
Well, I like it.
It's just something I picked up in high school.
So Jennifer, you're in Indiana. Katy Perry's coming to Kentucky. Kentucky woman. I mean, you know, and that's her neighbor, of course. So that's pretty cool, right?
It'll be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, she's kind of a liberal, whatever, but Orlando Bloom's cute. I'm cool with that. I mean, you know, he looks like a Kentucky guy, right, Michael? I mean, look, I mean, and Johnny Depp, isn't Johnny Depp a Kentucky guy?
Oh yeah. Orlando Bloom, they shot Elizabethtown in Versailles, my hometown, and the locals, they're kind of like the Texans, where if you have an ego and you're rude to people, they'll just let you know. They'll like tell you to buzz off or something. And Kirsten Dunst did not make a good impression. Orlando Bloom, they love him.
Well, what's
Okay,
not
but
to love
where
with
are they?
Orlando Bloom?
He's cute. I think he's
He
sweet.
is.
And he doesn't wear spandex.
Like Michael.
Or at least he doesn't post it.
Never do that again. That's so wrong.
Now I can never get that out of my
No,
mind.
but
Yeah.
Orlando Bloom was like on the ocean, like on a board or whatever, and he was naked. It's okay. I'm good with
I've went topless
problem.
before. I'll do that.
yeah.
I'll
Well,
stick to
We
that.
still
Right,
need to do our
Cathy?
toast.
Cathy?
Everybody. So everybody get your drinks together. So
oh,
we
that's
can do
right.
our
Let's do a
toast.
picture. Let's do a
Yeah.
picture because Kurt's a photographer. Let's do it. Hi.
Hi.
Cheese.
Hey,
There we go. Thanks. I just
So
wanted to
when
get that
we're
in.
on Netflix, because everybody's bailing on Netflix, and we do have people looking at this because they're like, "What the fuck are they doing?" And we love them, but we don't. What? I mean, we're getting that. I can't tell you my sources, but they're pretty good.
they gotta get interesting
Cult following.
content.
No, we have like a little cult following thing, and like a big leaguer's looking, going, "What the fuck is this? It's so funny. It's great, whatever." Because we have our regulars, and here and there we put a new person in, and they barely survive, right? I mean, sure.
Yeah, poor Magnus. I don't know if he'll ever.
I know. And and by the way, Magnus. Magnus, tell everybody. What happened to Magnus?
Magnus
Kurt?
is my boy.
I know, but guess what happened? Kurt will tell you what happened.
What happened to Magnus?
What happened?
What? I'm not sure what you're referring to.
Earthquake! The earth!
Oh,
earthquake!
yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah. There was an earthquake in Iceland just about
big
a week
one.
ago. Yeah, like 4.5 on the Richter scale, and it shook his house. Which people in Iceland are used to earthquakes because you've got the volcanoes there, but they're not used to ones that you can actually feel. that shake
Right.
their house.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I may need to move here. On the other hand, I told him, let me know if there are any cheap houses for sale now because of the earthquake.
Go.
There were a lot
So
of
Magnus
houses for sale.
experienced earthquake.
Being from California, I don't get out of bed unless it's a 5.0.
Yeah.
Wow.
See, we can get those earthquakes here in Indiana too. I went through one and I almost slept through it, but it rattled my house enough that it almost shook me off the sofa.
Well, we had the Madron earthquake that fall in Wisconsin several times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that
going
the
right up
same one for
Mississippi
Indiana?
Valley. Probably. It follows the Mississippi
It's an
River.
offshoot. They're different offshoots that are basically cracks in the middle of the continent from when the North American plate and the African plate were crunched up against each other.
See, this is how Kurt and I bonded. So I'm like, I'm getting the hell out of LA because it's going under with the earthquake. So Kurt, am I wrong? Sorry, Tommy, but let's talk about it. So we don't have a lot of time yet, but don't you think LA's in trouble with the earthquakes?
The likelihood for a significant earthquake damage is higher in California than pretty much anywhere else.
It's 100% happening.
Yeah.
There's so many
I gave
houses
up
on
the
hills.
tornadoes.
You're welcome to come live with us.
I gave up the tornadoes.
Tornadoes.
Yeah, but you know what?
Hey,
This tornado's appearing in New England. Can you believe that shit?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, that's weird.
I mean, there was
Not
a
that-
couple tornadoes that touched down while I was gone. Thankfully, I was gone. But I see it all over the news. I'm like, what the hell?
Well, President Biden said that Kentucky was hit with a hurricane.
didn't he? You know what? I'm so
Yeah,
glad
he
I
did.
that, but now I do. Are you sure?
That's
I'm
an easy
positive.
mistake.
I'm positive.
It's bad for
I'm
him.
absolutely sure. I heard the same thing.
Wow.
Rumor has it. Yeah, not cool. All right. I mean, let's just hope we
The weather
survive.
these days.
Let's just hope we survive, guys. Okay, but
We all have
like
spandex
Cali.
moments.
Tom is the only Cali guy here, so let's like raise a glass to Tom. Hopefully you survive. We hope you move our way.
But Michael is up by Sacramento right now, so hey.
Yeah, I'll swing by and have a drink with you before I get into town.
If you
Do
survive,
that.
Yeah.
don't wear
Do
your
that.
spandex. Well, but if you're going to LA, they would love that spandex.
Or Miami.
See.
Jennifer. So yeah, Speedo. So Jennifer in
We're
Indianapolis.
still talking about it in West Hollywood about Michael coming down.
Oh. So
Yeah, about the guy dressed in too many clothes.
So Jennifer, if Michael showed up in Indiana in his Speedos, whatever. So do you think they would arrest him? Do you think Joe Hogsett would have him arrested?
And would you post bail for me?
She would.
You know.
Jennifer is a high-powered attorney, I will have you know. So if you get in trouble in Indianapolis, she will take care of you. In Bloomington, you got Kurt because he'll bless you and you're good. And Sue Ann in Boston, she will ship your ass out, especially if you're military. And if you're bad, she will get the military to ship your ass out. Just saying. And Tommy, I'd love to give you power, but in LA, there is no power. It's a wild, wild west, crazy shit, right?
Yep.
Same with you,
Absolutely.
Kathy, in Miami. It's just crazy, right? It's crazy.
Translate for Michael or something. Or watch. I'll just watch.
The Topless Show. All right, I think we got to go. Love you guys. See you next
Love
time.
you guys. This is fun. Take care,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye, guys.
Adios. Bye.
Adios.
Adios.